Hey, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to show you how to trim a quilt. Sometimes we do a quilting ourselves, which is what I've done on this quilt, which is part of my Cut, Sew, Grow Club. Or you can get a quilt back from your long arm quilter. They may or may not trim it for you. Perhaps they charge a fee for that. If they charge a fee for that, save your pennies and put it towards, I don't know, new thread or new needles. But let's get trimming our quilt. The tools that you're going to need a rotary cutter with a good sharp blade. I just changed my blade right before this. The painter's tape is optional, but I'll show you why I recommend this to help us get good square corners. You can use a square ruler. I have my 12.5-inch Creative Grids square right here, and I also have my 6.5 by 24-inch. This will make it so I can cut fewer cuts with less movement of my ruler. So we'll get showing everything. All right. You want to measure your border. Now, these borders started out at 3.5. They're now at 3 1/4. So I actually took my painter's tape, found my 3 1/4 line, going horizontal and vertical. I have to get my directions right. So horizontal and vertical. I actually trimmed one edge with my rotary cutter to get it nice and square and straight. So I can find this corner really easily on the corner of my quilt. Okay. And now I know, I put my glasses on here. I know that I am on my quarter line. You can see it go all the way across here. And I am straight up until it's kind of give it a little pull. Sometimes it pulls in all the way up here. So I have the perfect cut right here. So let's go ahead and cut. This is the part that makes me nervous. So I'm going to come this way and cut like that. All right. Now I know I have my first corner perfectly square, so it is ready to go. And now all I have to do now is slide my quilt down, get my long ruler up, get my next cut lined up, and make sure that you are cutting on that 1, 2, 3 1/4, that you're cutting on your cutting mat. I would hate for anybody to not be cutting on their cutting mat. I don't know if the camera can show you, but I have a few places right here where I'm into my batting, right? And my topper, my quilt top, is a little bit short. It's down about 1/8 of an inch. That will be covered by my binding. I'm not too worried about that. Just the nature of quilting and the nature of the direction that I went is probably why that's been pulled just a little bit. So you just want to make sure that you keep everything even. And if it's not even, don't cut. Right? Make sure you're lined up. So I had moved my ruler so we weren't completely lined up there. Just keep going around. We want to get to one more corner. 3 1/4 right here. And bring that quarter right to there. All right, now I've run into this problem. You can see my quilt is not straight. So I'm going to try and straighten it out because I can't get that lined up. Okay, that's much better. So adjust your quilt. Keep your quilt straight. Don't try to go at an angle. Sometimes you might cut off a little bit of your quilt top as well, and that is also okay to do. We just want a nice straight edge going along here that's ready for our binding. Okay. Now I'm going to come right here. We're going to go ahead and cut this whole corner down. If I really, really wanted to, I could get my square out again, but I don't need to. We're just going to cut, and I'm just going to cut, get rid of that. Now I'm going to rotate my quilt. And because I know that I started out square and I've been going square, and that this is 3.5 right here. I can just keep it going right along here, line up the bottom of my ruler here, or I can bring a line down. I prefer to start cutting with a little bit of extra ruler hanging over. This corner has been just a little ornery. Get that all squared up. And now I know that I am square right here. Start, and then I'm going to pull this down towards me and keep going. And it really doesn't take too long, but you do want to make sure that you are accurate, okay? So if you have to go slow, but it will take you like, I don't know, 5 minutes. When that is done, then I want to show you the next step. Now that we have our quilt all trimmed, it's time to take our victory lap before we put on our quilt binding. So the way I do this is I'm going to baste around the edge of my quilt about 1/8 of an inch in. I have my stitch lengthened as far as it will go on my machine, which is 5 millimeters, and I have my needle as far to the right as I can go. I also want to go in and adjust my presser foot pressure, take it down just a little bit, because I'm on the edge of my fabric and I've got fabric batting and fabric. So I want to not push that top layer of fabric forward with my presser foot. Your walking foot is also going to help. So on my FOF, I have my IDT in place. And I'm going to line this up. Now for me, what I think, because if I put this down right here, the goal is to follow the edge of the fabric and follow the edge of what we just trimmed off. And I want it inside this 1/4 inch basting strip that I did around the edge of my quilt before I quilted it. Now, if you get your quilt back from your long armor, it should already be stitched and basted like this. But if you've done your own quilting, or you didn't have your long armor trim it, or for some reason they didn't baste it, this is the next thing you do to get your quilt ready for binding. So I'm pretty good. It looks like I'm inside this stitch. So I'm just going to stitch, trying to keep it as straight as I possibly can. This, again, is going to be hidden by my binding. I'm coming to the end. This is where I might use a stiletto. I've got a little pokey right here on the end of my quilt top that wants to lift. So I'm just going to make it stay down while I do the pivot, and I sewed completely off, which is not a big deal. That doesn't bother me. You can sew completely off, just start again. You might have to cut your thread and put your fabric under the presser foot and the needle. My machine's going to take it, no problem. I will just continue on around the edge of my quilt, and then it's ready for binding. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Bye.